Hi everyone, it's nice to meet you. Before starting the lecture, I want to introduce myself first. I am Nam Seung-eun, majoring in Pansori among Korean traditional music at Jungwon University. Today, I'm going to have a time with you to learn about Pansori and its messages to us. And let's get started. Are you familiar with Pansori? There may be people who haven't even heard the name, or there may be people who have already fallen in love with Pansori and even watching the performance. So to introduce the Pansori, Pansori is a vocal genre of kugak, which is a traditional Korean music, and has been selected as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2003. Normally in Pansori, a single person of singer, which is called changja, sings a long story to a one percussion accompanist's rhythm. In addition, there are two more elements of Pansori. First is aniri, which is giving a line in a free rhythm. Next part is a gesture, which performer has to do during his or her song. These two things are an important component of Pansori along with the singing part. Next, let's take a look at the brief history of Pansori. It can be assumed that Pansori originated from late Joseon dynasty during the reign of King Sukjong. Thankfully, it has been passed down to the present. Originally, there were 12 stories of Pansori at the time, but there are a total of 5 stories has left. At the time, Pansori began to be very popular among the common people, and even the aristocrats enjoyed listening to it. This enlargement of enjoyment layer shows how Pansori's musicality was outstanding at that time. And let's briefly see how Pansori is actually performed with the reference video. Therefore, the Pansori of these 5 stories is our precious cultural heritage, which boasts outstanding literary value in modern society. So, of course, like all literary works, Pansori had a clear message to the aristocracy, the common people, and still gives messages to modern people like us. This message is directly related to the 5 ethics of human beings in Joseon dynasty at the time. These 5 ethics of human beings are called Ohryoon. Ohryoon is an important virtue which were influenced by the Confucian culture, which was a basic study of social ideology during the Joseon dynasty. Next, we'll talk about Ohryoon and the book Ohryoon 행실도. Now, you'll probably wonder what Ohryoon 행실도 is. The book which is describing Ohryoon is Ohryoon 행실도. It was revised in 1797 by servants Shim Sang-gyu and Lee Byung-mo under the order of King Jeongjo. They combined the previously published books, which were 삼강 행실도 and 이륜 행실도. 오륜 행실도 consists of 5 books, 4 chapters, and explains 105 cases that fit 5 ethics with writing and drawing. Now, I'm going to explain these 5 ethics. They are 부부유별, 부자유친, 군신유의, 장유유서, 붕우유신. I know it's very difficult to understand. So, I'm gonna explain these 5 ethics in more detail. Let's get started. First 오륜 is 부부유별. It means that each husband and wife must do their duties sensibly. Eventually, it emphasizes the love, trust, faith between men and women. Second is 부자유친. It means parents and their children have a strong bond. So, it emphasizes that parents have to be kind to their children, and children must be respectful and serve their parents. Third is 군신유의. It means that there should be loyalty between the king and servants. fourth is 장유유서. It means that there is a turn and order between adults and children. In this context, it can also emphasize the brotherhood. Lastly, 부무유신 means that there is trust between friends. It emphasizes friendship, colleagueship, and cooperation. Therefore, next, we will connect the messages of the 5 stories of Pansori with the 5 ethics above with watching the real performance of video.
하루 지기를 기다렸지? 조경이경 삼사오경이 하루 시각이 되는지라.
Chunhyanga is a love story between a woman named Chunhyang and a man named Mongyong. This story's viewpoint is Chunhyang's attitude toward Mongyong. She is showing an attitude over Yeolyo to overcome the ordeal of giving herself to another man when Mongyong is not by her side. But she refuses strongly and gets punished by being tortured. Yeolyo can be seen similar with Lucretia, which refers to a woman with a straight incision. Therefore, Chunhyanga can be linked to 부부유별 among the 5 ethics.
그때여 심청이난 부친의 어두운 눈을 띄우기 위하여 공양미 300석의 몸이 팔려 당수에 당두어니 영자가 부구를요 오사를 지내는디 부걸 두리둥둥둥둥 두리둥둥둥둥 어느 시패드우와 이제 불통하고 고생이 본을 받아라 하기 위해 막대가 모이 아닌가.
Shimcheonga is a story about a girl named Shimcheong and her filial piety toward her father Shimhakyu. She is a girl who has the utmost filial piety to sacrifice herself as a dedication to open his father's eyes. Therefore, Shimcheonga can be connected with 부자유친 among the 5 ethics.
생으로 토끼 얼굴을 모르오니 그 화상이나 자세히 그려주옵소서. 그 말이 옳다 하고 공을 불러라. 공을 불러라. 공 불러라. 환상을 그린다.
Sugunga tells the story of Pyeoljubu, a loyal servant, and a rabbit with his tricks. The emphasis of this story is on the action of Pyeoljubu, a servant's attitude toward the king who voluntarily takes on tasks despite difficulties. Therefore, the Sugunga can be connected to the Kunshin-yui among the 5 ethics. Hunboga is a story that emphasizes brotherhood by showing the older brother Norbo, who acts meanly to his younger but good brother Hunbo. Norbo is eventually getting punished. Therefore, it can be connected to 장유유서 among the 5 ethics.
웅동 때 어찌 둥남풍이 있을 소냐? 아, 맞지로이다. 일시용 동남풍이 조용대경 다
적벽가 is a story that emphasizes friendship and fellowship as it is a story based on a war. Therefore, it is possible to connect with the 붕우유신 among 5 ethics with the action of men called 유비, 관우, 장비, uniting against the enemy 조조 in the song. Till now, we've learned about how 5 stories of Pansori is connected to 5 ethics among the Ohryoon. And now, let's think more deeply with these 5 ethics. As the above 5 stories were classified as the epic poetry of the Joseon dynasty, there are many parts where the thoughts of Joseon dynasty influenced. And also, the exaggeration is used in many parts. But I think the message which these 5 stories are delivering is deeply connected to our modern society. And let's see how these 5 ethics work on this modern society. In 부자유친, no matter how the time and system changes, I don't think there's anything more important between the parents and children's relationship. Next, 군신유의 may apply only to kings and servants in the past, not to democratic times like modern times. But even today, it can be reinterpreted that a leader of an organization acts as a leader, and that the crew of the organization shows a crew-like actions. Next, the distinction between men and women in the 부부유별 can be said to be an unequal ethics between men and women. However, this can be said to have influenced by Joseon dynasty society, so it must be reinterpreted correctly in the present society. Therefore, I want to explain this ethic as men should treat women other than their wives, and wives should treat men other than their husbands. 장유유서 can also be said to be a different ethics from modern society, which values ability and achievement. But I think this can be reinterpreted as an advice to improve interpersonal quality. We can reinterpret this ethic in which both high-aged people and low-aged people should show respect for each other. Lastly, 붕우유신 is an ethic that has a very important value in the present society. I think this advice wishes to show respect to colleagues is very important and is a must-have spirit in human relationships. However, since the roots of the above 5 ethics are Eastern ideas and ideologies, it may be difficult for the West to accept this Pansori containing the 5 ethics. However, I think the spirit of 5 ethics is connected with the purpose of achieving harmony and peace in all human relationships. And eventually, these ethics would lead us to the spirit of globalization. So the lecture is over, and today we've learned about the Ohryoon, which is 5 ethics, and we've connected these ethics to 5 stories of Pansori. Furthermore, we had a time to think about the modern and global value of these 5 ethics. If you remind yourself of the spirit of Ohryoon that you learned this time, I think you will definitely improve your quality of life. It could have been boring because this content contains deep contents, but thank you so much for watching until the end. Then I'll see you the next time. Also, there is an after assignment. After assignment is writing your opinion. I want you to leave your own spirit of 5 ethics in the comments after watching this video lecture. Thank you very much. Bye!